To make the script, you need ideas, and for me, a lot of times, a final script is made up of many fragments of ideas that came at different times. I think that ideas exist outside of ourselves. I think somewhere, we're all connected off in some very abstract land. But somewhere between there and here, ideas exist. There's always fear of the unknown where there's mystery. Some things we forget. But many things we remember on the mental screen, which is the biggest screen of all. In Hollywood, more often than not, they're making more kind of traditional films, stories that are understood by people. And the entire story is understood. And they become worried if even for one small moment something happens that is not understood by everyone. The ideas dictate everything. You have to be true to that, or you're dead. Stay true to yourself. Let your voice ring out, and don't let anybody fiddle with it. Never turn down a good idea, but never take a bad idea. And meditate. The cinema is really built for the big screen and big sound, so that a person can go into another world and have an experience. Everything I learned in my life, I learned because I decided to try something new. Stories hold conflict and contrast, highs and lows, life and death, and the human struggle and all kinds of things. Television provides the opportunity for an ongoing story, the opportunity to meld the cast and the characters and a world and to spend more time there. Desire for an idea is like bait. When you're fishing, you have to have patience. You bait your hook, and then you wait. The desire is the bait that pulls those fish in, those ideas. People think anger is an edge, but anger is a weakness that poisons you and the environment around you. Sex is a doorway to something so powerful and mystical, but movies usually depict it in a completely flat way. Everyone is on the internet, but they're not all talking with each other. There are groups upon groups out there, but they don't talk to one another. So while the internet brings everyone into a shared space, it does not necessarily bring them together. There are only 24 hours in a day, and my top priority is working on my films, but I love short film experiments. It makes me uncomfortable to talk about meanings and things. Because the meaning, it's a very personal thing, and the meaning for me is different than the meaning for somebody else. The house is a place where things can go wrong. The concept of absurdity is something I'm attracted to. A film, especially when it's a personal film, is going to hit somebody or it's not. There's nothing you can do about it. Ideas are like fish. If you want to catch little fish, you can stay in the shallow water. But if you want to catch the big fish, you've got to go deeper. Down deep, the fish are more powerful and more pure. I discovered that if one looks a little closer at this beautiful world, there are always red ants underneath. I don't know why people expect art to make sense. They accept the fact that life doesn't make sense. We're all like detectives in life. There's something at the end of the trail that we're all looking for. These so-called bleak times are necessary to go through in order to get to a much, much better place. The world we live in is a world of opposites, and the trick is to reconcile those opposing things. Music as background to me becomes like a mosquito, an insect. In the studio we have big speakers, and to me that's the way music should be listened to. When I listen to music, I want to just listen to music. A lot of artists think they want anger, but a real, strong, bitter anger occupies the mind, leaving no room for creativity. People think in Hollywood there's a family where everybody gets together, talks about stuff, and we all know each other, and it's just not that way at all to me. Grow in happiness and intuition. Experience the joy of doing, and you'll glow in this peaceful way. Your friends will be very, very happy with you. Everyone will want to sit next to you, and people will give you money. Most of Hollywood is about making money, and I love money, but I don't make the films thinking about money. The beautiful thing is that when you catch one fish that you love, even if it's a little fish, a fragment of an idea, that fish will draw another fish, and they'll hook onto it. Then you're on your way. Soon there are more and more and more fragments, and the whole thing emerges. An artist makes a painting, and nobody bugs him or her about it. It's just you and your painting. To me, that's the way it should be with film as well. If we didn't want to upset anyone, we would make films about sewing, but even that could be dangerous. But I think there have to be those contrasts and strong things within a film for the total experience. This whole world is wild at heart and weird on top. We think we understand the rules when we become adults, but what we really experience is a narrowing of the imagination. Inside, we are ageless, and when we talk to ourselves, it's the same age as the person we were talking to when we were little. It's the body that is changing around that ageless center. When you finish anything, people want you to then talk about it. And I think it's almost like a crime. A film or a painting, each thing is its own sort of language, and it's not right to try to say the same thing in words. Life is very, very complicated, and so films should be allowed to be, too. Life should be blissful, and blissful doesn't mean just a small happiness. It's huge. It is profound. Happy accidents are real gifts, and they can open the door to a future that didn't even exist. A filmmaker doesn't have to suffer to show suffering. You just have to understand it. You don't have to die to shoot a death scene. True happiness is not out there. True happiness lies within. I like Los Angeles because of the light. The light makes me feel so good. It's really beautiful. And there's something about Los Angeles being so spread out that gives you a feeling of freedom. Light and freedom. I don't remember my dreams too much. I have hardly ever gotten ideas from nighttime dreams. But I love daydreaming and dream logic and the way dreams go. It's so freeing. It's beautiful in a way to have a great failure. There's nowhere to go but up. Absurdity is what I like most in life, and there's humor in struggling in ignorance. Look at Van Gogh. The guy could not sell one painting, and now nobody can afford them. I like things that go into hidden, mysterious places, places I want to explore that are very disturbing. In that disturbing thing, there is sometimes tremendous poetry and truth. You can understand conflict, but you don't have to live in it. Intuition is the key to everything. In painting, filmmaking, business, everything. I think you could have an intellectual ability, but if you can sharpen your intuition, which they say is emotion and intellect joining together, then a knowingness occurs. Keep your eye on the donut, not on the hole. Meditation is to dive all the way within, beyond thought, to the source of thought and pure consciousness. Humor is very interesting to me. My films are not comedies, but there's comedy in them from time to time, absurdities, just like in real life. Negativity is the enemy of creativity. Film can't just be a long line of bliss. There's something we all like about the human struggle. Within your own self is a treasury, an ocean of pure bliss, consciousness, intelligence, creativity, love, happiness, energy, and peace, within every human being. Experience that, and you will begin to know yourself, which is unbounded, eternal totality. More and more people are seeing the films on computers, lousy sound, lousy picture, and they think they've seen the film, but they really haven't. If you stay true to your ideas, filmmaking becomes an inside-out, honest kind of process.